Mart, and today I'm going to be doing another theory. This is going to be a TV theory, based on SpongeBob. So yeah, for those who missed my theory from last week, I said I'm going to be doing a bit more different theories because usually I do movie theories, but now I'm going to start doing other types of theories, such as TV theories, video game theories, political theories, and music theories. So yeah, so last week I did a music theory, which was based on Nirvana and Kurt Cobain, and the theory was did Kurt Cobain commit suicide or not? So that was my music theory. This time around it's gonna be a TV theory. Next week I'm gonna have a video game theory, and in 2 weeks I'm gonna have a political theory. So yeah, I've already made I am gonna be making different playlists. So one for the movie theories, one for the political theories, TV theories, and music theories. Some of them may cross over from time to time, but whatever. So yeah, this is gonna be a TV theory again based on SpongeBob, and this time around the theory is SpongeBob an allegory for the seven deadly sins? So yeah, basically, do all the characters in SpongeBob represent the seven deadly sins? So yeah, basically, for those who don't know the seven deadly sins, they are greed, envy, sloth, pride, wrath, gluttony, and lust. So supposedly there's seven characters, the seven main characters, who portray greed, envy, sloth, pride, wrath, gluttony, and lust. The characters we'll be talking about this time around are Mr. Krabs, Plankton, Patrick, Sandy, Squidward, Gary, and SpongeBob. So yeah, basically, in order for you guys to understand who every person is, you need to understand what the seven deadly sins are. Greed, basically is basically wanting money. Usually, it's associated with money, but in general, it's just the desire to have something very badly or and in large quantities. Envy is basically the desire to have something that you don't want. I mean, sorry, that came out wrong. The desire to have something that you don't have, but you really want or need. Sloth is basically being lazy, and sloth is being lazy, sleeping a lot, and yeah. Pride is basically being very self-righteous, very confident, and thinking you're the best in the world, and yeah. Wrath is usually associated with anger. Basically, wrath is always being very angry with the world, usually associated also with hatred of the world or other people around you. Gluttony is basically the wanting, usually associated with food, but basically similar to greed, wanting stuff in large quantities, though it usually is associated with food. And lust is basically the wanting. Usually it's sexual. Usually it's associated with sex. Uh, but lust is basically the desire to want something very badly, and again in large quantities, but usually it's associated in sex or some kind of happiness. Because sex does bring happiness and however that goes. But usually it's a sexual desire, or but it's basically a very wanting, and usually in not large quantities, but usually wanting it for a long time. So basically, who are the seven deadly sins? So first off, greed would be Mr. Krabs, obviously. Mr. Krabs is obviously the greediest one of them all. To begin with, he even has a song that he sang in one of the episodes called "If I Could Talk to Money." And there's been several episodes revolving around him and his greed. Um, so, uh, so yeah, he's always wanting money. He's pretty much considered one of the richest people in Bikini Bottom. Um, and obviously he has a method that actually works. With the Krusty Krabs, that gets him a lot of money, and he usually when there's usually he always raises the prices for his Krabby Patties, and he always cuts, like he doesn't pay Squidward or SpongeBob enough so he could save more money. And every time he loses money, even at the smallest amount, such as a penny, he cries his ass. He cries his big long eyes out. So he bogs over even a cent, and he's very hesitant to give away money. So that's why Mr. Krabs is greedy. And also to point out, he even has his own wiki page on the official SpongeBob wiki page. He has his own wiki page that devotes just to that just compiles all his greedy plans, which I'll leave a link down below. As well as the place where I'm getting this from. Now number 2 is envy. Basically in this case, Plankton is envy. He's very envious of Mr. Krabs and his riches, as well as the fact that he always has customers in his restaurant. Plankton runs the Chump Bucket, and Mr. Krabs runs the Krusty Krab. Plankton never gets customers, and if he does, it's usually because Karen pays them to come and eat there. He's always trying to get the Krabby Patty formula, which is weird considering there is evidence and even a full episode where they show Mr. Krabs and Plankton working together, being former accomplices. So that's pretty weird, but whatever. Basically, they say that Plankton is the envious one. He's always looking for money. He's always looking for the Krusty Krab formula to become, bigger and better than Mr. Krabs. And he's just very envious. Basically, there's no other way to put it. Now, number 3, Sloth Patrick. Yeah, he's basically lazy, fat, and yeah, I mean, there's even a whole episode revolving around him, where it's basically him getting a trophy for being the laziest person ever, and also he lives under a rock. Also to point out, he's very dumb. Not to say that lazy people are dumb, but I'm just pointing that out, that some people have pointed out that he is dumb, and that kind of enforces the fact that he is Sloth. So yeah, and as I said before, he also won a trophy for being the laziest person in Bikini Bottom, and for having done nothing for the most time. And after he got that trophy, he goes back under his rock to sleep some more, and also the fact that he lives under a rock, which, yeah, theoretically, in our society would mean that we don't get out much, hence we're lazy, hence Sloth. So number 4 is Pride, and this one is associated with Sandy. So first off, she's very patriotic. Sandy is very patriotic, always saying that she's from Texas. She's always trying to teach other people of her culture of Texas, being very prideful or patriotic of her country, which is the USA or state of Texas. Also, she's very prideful in the fact that she's the only land critter, considering she is a squirrel. She's the only land critter to be in Bikini Bottom, as most of them are fishes, sponges, crabs, squids. Yeah. What else is there? Yeah, fishes, crabs, squids, sponges, a starfish, or whatever. Just sea animals. She's the only land mammal or land animal that's in the ocean. So yeah, so she's very prideful of that. Also, she also thinks she's one of the best karate masters. She thinks she's very good at karate, as well as other types of martial arts, making her more prideful than she already is. Number 5, we have Wrath. Squidward is usually associated with Wrath. He's very hateful, especially towards Patrick and SpongeBob. He doesn't like happiness at all. He's always very angry, very pissed off at everybody. He always just wants to be in his own asylum. Well, not asylum, but he always wants to be with himself. Also, some people do say that Squidward could also be considered for pride, because he does think of himself as prideful due to the fact that he could play the clarinet, and he thinks of himself as artistic and talented, which I guess makes sense in some aspects. But for the most part, I'm gonna keep Squidward to Wrath. So yeah, so Squidward again is wrathful. He hates everyone. He doesn't really like many people. He doesn't really like going out. So yeah, and he hates how everybody just always seems to have a better time than he does. Number 6 is Gluttony, and many people associate Gary with Gluttony. Considering, I mean, and there's some evidence behind it. First off, there's an entire episode where he ran away because SpongeBob didn't feed him. So yeah, and every time SpongeBob does forget to feed him, usually he just eats the couch or eats the furniture. So he's always very hungry. Um, so yeah, he's always very hungry. He also is shown eating a lot. Um, up to about 3 or 4 bags of snail food, which is about the size of our a dog food bag, a large dog food bag. So Gary has been seen to eat about 3 or 4 of those bags in like one entire chomp. So he is very gluttonous. Um, and number 7, lust, is surprisingly maybe SpongeBob. SpongeBob is lust. Now, as I said before, lust is the wanting, usually in sexual desire. Now, obviously, SpongeBob, and considering the fact that this is a kid show, he ain't gonna go for sexual desire. So yeah. But usually they say that he is happy, and he is very happy. He wants to lust for happiness, and that's usually what it comes for. Some people do consider him to possibly be gay, which is a whole other discussion topic on its own. But some people say that if you want to go into the sexual desire section, that he is lustful for Patrick, which is interesting. Also, the same thing, lustful for Sandy. So if you want to put the actual sexual desire aspect into it, that you could go with that. But as a whole, he has a lust for happiness. He has a lust for enjoyment of life. So yeah, that is the 7 deadly sins in SpongeBob. Hope you guys liked it, and that's basically it for now. Also, before I forget, some people also consider Mr. Krabs to be also under pride because he is very prideful. Um, of being one of the richest people in the sea. So yeah, before I forget, and yeah, that's basically it for now. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, and comic book reviews, so definitely do stay tuned for that. Comment down below your thoughts on the 7 deadly sins in SpongeBob. What did you think of it? I think it's very interesting, in my opinion. And there are many other conspiracy theories revolving around SpongeBob, which I really want to do in the future. So yeah, that's basically it for now. Subscribe, comment down below, like the video, share on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or whatever you guys prefer. And that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.